I'm a spokesperson for humanity that tries to not to lose this battle.
Welcome to Locarno Meets, a movie podcast brought to you by UBS from the Locarno Film Festival. Edgar Pêra is a Portuguese innovator who has arrived at Locarno this year carrying the most controversial of items. It's a movie, but it's made by artificial intelligence. Edgar, thanks for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
So you're in Locarno. Yesterday you showed Telepathic Letters, which is ostensibly an artificial intelligence movie. Are you, as a filmmaker, inherently interested in new technology, or is there something specific about AI which kind of drew you to it?
No, I always seen. There's a phrase that I read from Aldous Huxley that says that books are toys of consciousness, and films are also like that, and cameras and technology, they are kind of like toys for me because they're different ways to perceive the reality and to show my own inner universe. So I was here 10 years ago with Lisbon Revisited, which was a 3D movie, because there was this new small 3D cameras so that they were cheap and you could make films with that. So now I'm here with this new toy of consciousness, which is animal intelligence.
How are other filmmakers reacting to it? Are you being treated as a pariah? In my experience, many filmmakers are incredibly scared of AI.
Well, I think it happened the same with me when I started using video cameras, when people were supposed to shoot only film if they wanted to make cinema. And I think there's a big confusion between formats and what cinema is. So if you shoot in film, it can be TV. If you shoot in video, it can be cinema. That depends a lot on the screen, on theater, and on the language. So I see AI as another tool, and it's a great tool for low budget, because if you want to explode many towns, like I did with this musical video for legendary Tiger Man called Losers. It's a great song, and Paulo Furtado, the legendary Tiger Man, is a great friend of mine, and we had not the budget. We had just he saw the image I was doing for this film, for Telepathic Letters, and can we do it? And it took longer than I was expecting. So even working with AI, I think it takes much more time to do a film than with actors, because the algorithm tends to put you in certain places, which I try to avoid.
Such as, you mean stylistic ones?
Yeah, there was a girl who was always appearing, a really pretty face, very, standard.
Yeah.
And I was agonizing that every time I would write a woman, she would appear. So I had to make a detour and try to tame the algorithm, doing hundreds of images a day. So I would wake up and start making images with the phone instead of going to a social media or whatever.
Who's training who? Are you training the algorithm, or is the algorithm training you?
I felt like a machine in the end, that I was the slave of AI, because I was doing so much prompts that I was some kind of teacher, but I tried to find my algorithm so that the film is about Fernando Pessoa and Lovecraft. And when I would write a man, Fernando Pessoa would appear without writing his name. So it's because the algorithm went into the direction I wanted.
So which program were you using?
Any program, it's Midjourney or DALL-E or whatever. I think they're basically the same. and in I started with still images in September 2022. I still remember this because my eyes are poorer after that. And there was this Pandora or Cine Pandora box that opened, and I had only the images of people talking, and then generators like Runaway appeared, so that you could do very small movies. And in the beginning, it was really great because everything looked like VHS. And I don't know how to make it now again with this lo-fi style. So
Yeah, now it's all quite like it's a bit computer gamey. It's like
it's
a
more
lot
and
of the
more
stuff.
accurate
Yeah.
and more realistic, and it's much more difficult now to make it. Even if you write archive or whatever, it's not that easy to make the kind of images that you watch in Telepathic Letters. And that's one of the things that interests me a lot. It's the beginning of things, the beginning of cinema, silent cinema, and yeah, that's it's a trap because I'm now in rehab of
Yeah, yeah.
AI. I have to shoot with actors and
You're the first of many of us, I'm sure. But just to be really clear, so in the film, is it just the imagery which is kind of generated by AI, or did you run scripts through it? Is the voiceover computer generated? What in the film comes from a real person, and what comes from computers?
well, most of the voice is human. So you have Keith Asher Davis that plays both Lovecraft and Pessoa, and then you have Iris Kayat, and there's a singer, Bárbara Lagido, and then Vitória Guerra, who played Ophelia in the Nothingness Club with Fernando Pessoa. She's the presenter, and the texts that she reads, they're a combination of my interaction with the GPT. So I call it Dr. Forge, which is the letters before GPT, like in 2001, Space Odyssey, HAL and IBM. And yes, but I realized that I had tons and tons of texts and I had to correct them because I realized that you have to know more than GPT about the subject you're asking.
Yeah, GPT that has not got a brain.
No, yeah, and it's like nature. It abhors an empty space. So if there's an empty space of information, it will start to invent things. Like if I want to do a synopsis of a film, oh, you got a grant from TV or something that never happened. Or in this case, you could say, oh, there's this Lovecraft's poem and it's a short story. And you have to know his work to correct some errors. So I think it's a tool for me to write in English, actually, to present my ideas and write. But there are some voices also which are not human in the film, but that's a small percentage.
Did you find it a creative tool? I feel like that right now the world of AI is basically being organized by quite weird tech people who don't know anything about stories or books or films or art and don't really care. And then the artists aren't engaging so much. And it feels to me like an important moment, an important opportunity for artists to get involved with the process before it's just the assholes running it. Because the assholes will close the door and then all the nice creative people will going, wait.
Oh yeah, but it's a very simplistic division. But I think the forces of evil have been ahead of the forces of good in not only AI but in social media, and there's this prejudice that the media itself is evil, and it's always the humans behind. it's all in AI. There's always a human that can fire you or can give you another job as a specialist in prompts or whatever. So you have always an option and so I think we should provide content that is an alternative to this Shrek avatar colors and the artificial look of most of things you see online.
And also just by learning I suppose you're right. Yeah, you not only can you guys be learning how to use it, but you're also teaching it how to be more tasteful and more respectful. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was saying, is that if it's like a representation of yesterday we had a step in talking about AI, and it's like the representation of ethnics, because if you write a man, it appears Caucasian,
Classic.
classic, and so you and so if you direct in other directions, if you find other ways of representing the human race, for instance, that's a way to connect humanity to the machine.
Yeah.
And don't, because there are many racist people. It can go that way or our way, which is of the diversity. And I think there's some kind of ethic obligation to participate.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I mean,
It's a train. It's coming. Or either you step in and go in, or you'll be crushed by it. I don't think there's a solution. Even to fight it, you need the machines to fight other machines.
yeah, it's got to be Terminator 2, not Terminator 1.
Oh well,
Yeah.
or Matrix.
Yeah, true. So, did you know you wanted to work in AI before you knew that you wanted to do a film about Lovecraft and Pessoa? Or was it the other way around?
No, I had many books by Lovecraft, which I wrote link Pessoa and vice versa. I would find a book by Pessoa and say, oh, there's a link to Lovecraft about the fear of the unknown, or lots of existential subjects, like they were aliens and watching humanity from the cosmos.
And so, I mean, is there something? I was kind of thinking about the heteronyms or Lovecraft's kind of unimaginable horrors. I wondered if AI had appealed to you because those things are actually impossible. I can't imagine what those things look like, and maybe you can't imagine what those things look like. But if you feed it into a computer, it comes up with something that isn't human and possibly is a greater representation of the unrepresentationable.
Well, I tried to do some kind of that, but also this concept of heteronym or pseudonym, but in case of Pessoa is much more complex. It has also connection with the variations that you get when you make an image in AI. Like you got 4 different images and then choose one and do a variation of that one. So this idea of multiple, it's already in Pessoa's work. And there's lots of this fear. I was talking with my friend, the producer, Rodrigo Reis, who we did this film together, and he was saying, oh, fear of the unknown is what we're feeling now about AI.
Yeah.
And so there's many connections to the content of the film to AI. Like we need one-dimensional art, which is the art of ideas, and that's another thing that I think it's important. It's not only the formal aspect of cinema, but it's not to show, is what you want to tell, what you want to say, more than I have this idea of an image and I want to make a movie out of it. Is I have the vision of society or wherever, and I want to share this inner experience with other people.
It's it's a fictional movie based on real people, but sort of presents like a video essay. And in some ways, I feel like that space is going to be the space where AI-generated moving images is going to be the most interesting and useful. It feels like a long way away for me that people are going to be, I don't know, making North by Northwest with AI.
Oh, have you seen the 50s adaptations of many movies?
Yeah.
With some are better than the original.
But like, I mean, what can you... I'm sorry to turn you into a spokesperson for artificial intelligence, by the way.
I'm not. I'm a spokesperson for humanity that tries to not to lose this battle.
I mean, what can you, on a practical level, where can you see, you know, AI costing the film industry jobs? I mean, you've got to think things like storyboard creators, VFX. Those are jobs that...
Well, you should ask people who work in the industry.
Yeah.
Because I don't work in the industry. And what I know from the production company I work with, Band Apart, we would never, Band would never fire anyone because of that. So, and I think of course, there's some mechanical things that it's like making shoes or making in between frames in animation, which is almost slave labor. So that I don't see as a problem, is because the person who's doing it is not doing something creative.
No, and actually,
so
that famously
depends.
overworked.
That depends on kind of work, but there will be lots of things to do, like making machines learn, that only people who are specialists in some area can do the right prompts to create a new visual environment. So, or musical, because I can make a music in 5 seconds, a lousy music.
Yeah, really bad music. Yeah.
But really bad. So again, you have to make the musical universe of AI with a better taste. Also, like your playlist in YouTube. That was happening with me. I write a man and he chooses one of the greatest writers of 20th century. That's an improvement. Instead of a guy, beautiful guy or whatever. Now there's a mustache guy with a hat and
somewhere in LA, someone's really annoyed that this guy keeps on popping
Someone
up.
told me that it would contaminate other accounts. So this guy showed the dagger, and then the dagger appeared on another account.
But this is fascinating. Yes. This really does make it a kind of a Matrix type war. When you get everybody with good and esoteric taste to just sit around and fill it full of interesting stuff, and it might stop looking like, I don't know, Wild Wild West or something like that.
Yeah, well, I'm not optimistic. I think it's like in Pessoa's phrase in the end, you have to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. That's the thing. And
but I mean, it seems, you know, for all of our talk about artificial intelligence, it seems like you've maybe had enough of it. You're going to go back to making.
Well, I as I told you, I was in this kind of AI rehab, but no, I think we have another project called Cosmic Spectators. It's a fictional encounter now with between Lovecraft and Pessoa.
I did notice there was a to be continued.
Yes, because this film I wanted to look a bit like an archive film documentary, to the point that people ask me, where did I get those images? And even in Portugal, they asked me, how did you get the movie of Fernando Pessoa? And people knew it was AI, but at the same time, they didn't want to believe that it was all AI created, that I took from somewhere or from a B movie. And that's the documentary part of the film. And there's always, and there's also a theoretical part, most of it in the beginning, so because I wanted people to go in some kind of trance after the introduction about them. But at the same time, I feel it's a documentary because you enter into the fictional world of them through not stories really, but images that connected make some kind of sense for me, and I hope for others, or they find different senses, which is great. When someone makes a film out of my film, it feels great. They make another film. It's not like giving points in Olympics, like criticism. Sometimes it's like from zero to 10.
Yeah.
You got talent, and they're all jury going ups and downs, and with lots of adjectives. And what I like is when someone gives me his vision. It doesn't matter the opinion. It's the most important is what he sees or what he listens to.
And in general, how has the reaction been to the film?
Well, you never know when the people don't like it. They don't come to tell you that. So
true. I just want to say, what a terrible film.
Yes. So, of course, well, I read already some criticism, which was really great. But what I liked is that the people who came to talk with me were really enthusiastic about the way I did the film and about the subject, which it's always important that you don't lose the subject just to the novelty of a new technology.
Well, I honestly really, really enjoyed it and watched it twice, and I'm very annoyed I didn't get to see it on the big screen.